Deep beneath the limestone terraces at Abydos, the Osirion seems to appear out of nowhere. Massive blocks, water-worn stone, and a chamber that feels older than the temple above it. What was this place really built to hold? Abydos was one of ancient Egypt's most sacred cities, tied to Osiris, death, rebirth, and the journey beyond the visible world. That alone makes the structure important, but its scale makes the questions harder to ignore. The Osirion sits behind the temple of Seti I, yet it does not look like a normal temple room. Its megalithic core feels almost separate, as if it belongs to a different architectural memory. Supporters of lost knowledge theories point first to the stones themselves. Some weigh many tons, fitted with a confidence that seems to belong to a vanished craft. How did builders move and place them so precisely? The chamber's sunken design adds another layer of intrigue. Water once pooled here, turning the space into something between sanctuary and underground basin, a place that feels deliberately symbolic and technically unusual. In Egyptian religion, water was never just water. It marked creation, renewal, and the first emergence of order from chaos. That symbolism makes the Osirion feel less like a ruin and more like a statement in stone. The mystery deepens because the Osirion does not sit neatly inside the usual timeline of temple construction. Some researchers have suggested it may preserve older building traditions, or even echo a memory far earlier than the dynastic age. That idea matters because Egypt's official history is already astonishing. Yet the Osirion seems to hint at something even more ambitious. If it is not simply a ceremonial basement, then what kind of knowledge was being preserved here? The first written descriptions from modern explorers only sharpened the puzzle. They found a structure that looked weathered, recessed, and architecturally distinct, almost as if the site had been built to survive more than one era. As excavation continued, the geometry became impossible to ignore. Massive pillars, a central basin, and carefully arranged stone courses suggest planning of a very high order, whatever date one assigns to it. Three details keep returning in every serious discussion of the site: the weight of the blocks, the precision of the layout, and the sense that water was part of the design from the beginning. Taken together, they feel deliberate. Those details are why some writers connect Abydos to the wider world of lost civilizations. They see not fantasy, but a surviving fragment of a technical tradition that later Egyptians may have inherited rather than invented. The strongest believer case rests on a simple question. Why build so much of this underground, with such enormous effort, if the goal was only a symbolic tomb complex? The engineering seems to ask for a deeper explanation. Some point to the site's apparent relationship with water and the Nile landscape, suggesting the builders understood more than ritual theatre. They may have been working with a cosmology in which earth, water, and sky were tightly linked. That cosmological reading is reinforced by the way Abydos itself functions in Egyptian memory. It was a place of passage, where the dead king could join Osiris, and where sacred architecture mirrored a journey into hidden realms. Yet the technical questions remain stubborn. Even today, moving multi-ton stone with such accuracy would require planning, labor, and methods that leave behind only fragments of their own story. Skeptics counter that the site may simply reflect the best of late Egyptian engineering, combined with later restoration and selective survival. In that reading, the wonder is real, but it belongs to human skill rather than forgotten superscience. That explanation fits part of the evidence, especially where later building phases are visible, but it does not fully erase the impression that the core of the structure was conceived on a grander, stranger scale. The most compelling moments at Abydos come when the camera lingers on the stone joints. The blocks meet with a kind of gravity that feels almost architectural and geological at once, as if the building were carved from a single intention. That is where the lost knowledge conversation becomes emotionally powerful. Even without claiming impossible things, the site suggests a civilization that may have understood materials, geometry, and symbolism in ways we still underestimate. At the same time, archaeology asks for restraint. A monument can be extraordinary without being extraterrestrial, and a difficult construction can still emerge from patient human intelligence over generations. What keeps the Osirion alive in the public imagination is that both ideas remain plausible at the edges. It may be a late monument built with inherited sacred logic, or a remnant of older knowledge folded into Egyptian religion. Even the unfinished feeling of the site matters. The chambers seem to invite interpretation, but they do not surrender one easily, and that resistance is part of the fascination. If there was once a deeper technical tradition here, it may have been encoded in ritual, architecture, and sacred geography, rather than in surviving manuals. That would explain why the clues feel physical but incomplete. And if the conventional chronology is correct, the Osirion still stands as a masterpiece of symbolic engineering. Its builders may have been less interested in utility than in creating a place where myth could become stone. That possibility does not make the mystery smaller. It makes it richer because a symbolic monument can still preserve memories of techniques, ideas, or ambitions that were already ancient when the site was raised. The question then is not only who built the Osirion, but what kind of world believed it was necessary. A world like that may have seen the sky, the underworld, and human craft as parts of one system. That worldview is exactly why ancient sites can feel so charged today. They are not just remnants of stone, they are records of how a civilization imagined its place in the cosmos. The Osirion's submerged chamber, its immense blocks, and its uncanny separation from the temple around it all keep pointing in the same direction. Something important was being protected here, whether knowledge, ritual, or memory. That is why Abydos still draws people who are looking for more than an explanation. They are looking for the shape of a forgotten inheritance, one that may have survived only in stone. The conventional reading sees a sacred complex shaped by dynastic Egypt, later alterations, and powerful religious symbolism. The more expansive reading sees a surviving fragment of older understanding, preserved almost by accident. Neither reading fully closes the case. The stones remain, the water once stood here, and the architecture still feels like a question asked across millennia.